Guys, welcome back to my channel and to a new episode on this blue Mark II 16 valve Golf. You probably saw from the time lapse, and you're probably glad I did it in time lapse, that I finally managed to get the seat cover back on. It was a little bit of a mission, to be fair, and I stabbed myself a few times, but I got there. At one point I managed to get 3 of the little hooks on, only to find that the 4th one was nowhere to be found, so I had to then take it off again to then put it on. But anyway, I got there, and you'll be as glad as I am that that's over and there's no more footage of dismantling or rebuilding seats. So I'll let you have a look and see how it is, and then we can get on to some shampooing and get these seats back in finally. So there it is, all back together again, obviously needing a good clean. It needed a good clean beforehand, so it definitely needs a good clean now. But yeah, handles back on, still works, which is obviously good. So yeah, that's great that that's done. I can't tell you how relieved I am about that. And it'll be good to get onto some shampooing now, which will be a lot more simple, thankfully. Okay, the first thing that I do is just grab quite a bristly brush and just use that to get rid of any kind of bigger parts of debris. It's pretty good. What we'll do is just move this back a little bit, just to make sure that we can get right back into the cushion. So you see the spongy bits from inside. These are quite good for removing dog hair as well, if you have dogs. Not there'll be any dogs going in this, but it is quite handy for doing that as well. And then next thing that I'm going to do is just hit it with the shampooer, but I'm just going to shampoo it, or basically hoover it dry, just to try and, again, get rid of any extra debris that's there. Alright, hopefully you can see okay. Next thing that I'm going to do is use it wet, so basically turn the spray on, and basically just sprays soapy water out of that jet there, and we just want to get it nice and wet, and then I'll show you what I do after that. Okay, now that I've got it nice and wet, the next thing that I do is actually use a drill with a brush attachment. I use a drill with a brush attachment just to put some more shampoo on it. So I'll show you that as well. So just like that. We don't need to have it on too high, so this is on the screwdriver setting rather than the drill setting, because obviously we don't want to damage the material or pull out any stitching by going too hard on it. So the next thing that I do is just spray it with some interior shampoo. With plenty of it. Way more than the label says. This is where having a little bit of patience helps. As you can see, it's well covered, but we should just leave it for a couple of minutes to kind of soak in. And once it's soaked in, I'll show you what I do next. All right, now that it's kind of soaked in enough, you can start to see the grey again. What we do is we just hit it with the drill with the brush attachment. Now that we've given it a good shampooing and brushed it in, I'm going to use the shampooer without the liquid, so that it just kind of removes the dirt and the water and the shampoo and everything from the seat. So if we've done this right, you should actually be able to see dirty water coming out. So that's exactly what I do. I'm not going to do it all in real time, it'll be pretty boring for you, but basically what I'm going to do is run the hoover over all of it just to suck off the dirt and the water and the soap. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to repeat the process. I'm going to finish drying off the rest of it, sucking off the dirty water and the soap. And then what I'm going to do is, because these seats were quite dirty, they look okay just now, but they can kind of look worse when they dry. So I'm just going to spray them with shampoo again, hit it with the drill brush, and then just basically go over it all again to hoover off all the dirty water. And that should be enough. If we need to hit them again, that's okay, we can do that when they're in the car, but it should be enough hitting it twice. Because they have come up pretty good just with hitting it once. So I'll stick it on time lapse, otherwise it'll be kind of a boring video for you. So wish me luck. Just before I move the driver's seat out of the way and start on the passenger one, I just thought I'd give you a little comparison between them. Obviously this one is still covered in dust, but I did give it a quick hoover there just to try and make a fairer comparison. But you can see that there's quite a big difference just in giving them the shampoo. The colours are an awful lot brighter, and obviously there's no dirty marks there. So I'll get cracked on with this one and then shoot inside. Just going to give the floor carpet a quick hoover, and then shampoo the back seats, and then stick these back in, and then we'll have a look and see how it's all looking. You'll probably be glad I time-lapsed all that if you got an idea from the time-lapse as to how long that took. This seat isn't quite in properly yet, but I'm going to come back to that. I'll do that on time-lapse tomorrow, before we start whatever we're doing tomorrow. But as you can see, the seats are back in, passenger seats in, all been shampooed, door cards all shampooed as well. So hopefully you'll agree that it looks a million times better than it did before. Muddy footprints after I've just cleaned that. So, yep, looking good. So, yeah, basically what I'm going to do now is go and grab my dehumidifier and stick that in the car. That's usually, for me, the best way to dry it, because obviously, rather than just warming it up and the fabric eventually drying, it's actually extracting all the water from the material, because it can feel dry to touch the surface, but the sponge underneath is still wet. So it doesn't take too long if you just shove a dehumidifier in it, and you should have a nice dry interior after a few hours. So I'll do that just after I finish filming this. Well, that feels like a lot better progress today. It's really good to have that seat back together and to have the interior nice and clean and the seats back in, or almost back in. I was kind of having a fight with the driver's seat, and it's just one of those ones where I think it's probably sensible to have a break and come back to it so I don't end up breaking something. So yeah, it's great to have all that in. I did order a couple of bits today. I ordered some of the pulls for the door lock pins, so hopefully they'll come within the next few days. There's still some niggly bits and pieces that I've not managed to find yet, but I'm going to give the workshop a good tidy and just check that there aren't some more pieces maybe in a cardboard box somewhere. Definitely worth a look before we start hunting around trying to find things. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.